I want to welcome everyone this evening, both folks here with us as well as our Zoomers. I had an awful lot of emails today and texts from folks saying, you know, it's awfully nice outside. We're going to Zoom. I can't say I blame them. What a difference a day can make, but we're going to move forward. And we know that we have some Zoomers. We welcome Molly Chappelle McFall. She will be sharing with us this evening during our reflection time about birth matters. I also want to thank Pat Hasty. She was our service coordinator, and that's wonderful. Everyone who's participating in the service, Kay Foster and Gail McCormick are our tea servers. Kathy Quackenbush is our musician, and Catherine Wakefield is our Zoom director. So on that note, I'm going to ask Kathy if she'll just play a few notes so that we can settle in before we begin our prayer. Kathy? Will you join me in the call to prayer, joining our voices in unison? We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome, who are seekers to a new faith, who come to probe and explore, who come to learn. We bid you welcome, who enter this place as a homecoming, who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. This evening, we are going to do something that we haven't done for a while. I'm going to invite people to come forward sort of one by one and light the candles on the altar. It's been over a year since we have done this, and we are slowly sliding into some ways that are our tradition. So I'm going to light the first candle. Kathy, you want to go light a candle? And then Kathy's going to play, and then I would invite you to come up and light your candle from the community candle.
Please read with me responsively as we bless our time together. Creator God, we always ask before we thank, for we are asking creatures. We ask for love, and thank you for the love you have inspired in us. We ask to be closer to you, and thank you for our capacity to pray. We ask for your understanding, and thank you for bringing us the light of your presence. We ask for happiness, and thank you for the joy of life. We ask for strength, and thank you for the courage you have given us to hope. We ask for your presence, and thank you for living in our hearts. We ask, and we have already received. Blessed be your name, O God, our Creator. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Thank y'all for inviting me. It's always exciting to share with any community about the worthy work of birth workers in Spartanburg. So I thought I'd just have a little bit of a casual conversation. Who has had a baby? Raise your hand if you've had a child. Okay. Who supported someone while someone else was having a child? Anybody had that beautiful experience? Okay. So I want to present with y'all this organization that I founded close to 12 years ago. So we've been in Spartanburg and we exist as a nonprofit. And a lot of people don't always know what nonprofit means. So what we want to make sure we explain to anybody, we raise money through grants and donors to offer the services for others at no charge. So what that means is we do pay our employees, and there's 5 employees that work full-time with the organization, and they all deserve to be paid. So a nonprofit just means that we don't make money. We don't, year to year, we're not saving our money and saving it for something. We use the money the way we say we're going to use it in the grants. So nonprofits have been around for a long, long time, and we are regulated by the IRS. And it is complicated, but it is worthy when organizations are able to do work that improve the local community. So right now we are only in existence in Spartanburg, and later this year, hopefully we can celebrate with everyone that we will be expanding to other communities in the state. There is lots of interest around the services that we've birthed out of Spartanburg, so that's exciting for us. Just so you understand, our mission, our overall mission, is to make sure that young mothers are decreasing. So teen pregnancy, we want to make sure teen pregnancy is reducing in Spartanburg. And we are the organization that believes in having honest conversations with young people about their sexual health. And a part of that is we do prevention work. So we want to make sure young people under 20 know about their bodies, know about how to prevent pregnancy. And then we have an intervention program, and that's our doula program. And a lot of people who've heard of that term, are a lot of y'all familiar with the term doula? Okay, we've slightly pivoted a little bit, and we're using more inclusive word of birth worker. But the fact of the matter is, doulas are specially trained to emotionally, physically support mothers and their family prenatally, we're with them during the birth, and then our program follows them until the baby turns 1. So we want to make sure mamas stay healthy so they can be a healthy parent to their child. And then we believe in enhancing that family to ensure the baby lives to be 1. So a lot of people don't realize infant mortality is getting a baby past 1 year old. So we are all about working with Black and brown families. So you will see on our flyer, this is what we call a recruitment card. And we have the African-American baby on the card. And that is because we specialize in serving Black and brown mothers that live here in Spartanburg. And why do we serve those families? We serve those families because they are at risk to have really poor outcomes. And a lot of people want to analyze and blame the family, and we are more of the belief system that there is something missing from the medical model, and we believe it's the emotional support layer that mothers aren't receiving with traditional medical care. And what we know is that probably everyone in this room has some type of history of trauma, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. And what we know is that the younger you are in acknowledging anything that you've experienced and becoming the healthiest version of yourself that you can during pregnancy is critically important. And we support that process, and we're very comfortable with that process. So emotional support and education. So we do believe that all families deserve to receive information on what their choices are. We're big about consent and choice during birth. And so we empower our families to know everything they can about the birth experience, and then help them make all those decisions on their birthing day. And what we believe is that when a mom is empowered, it decreases the chances of the system to oppress mothers. And when we empower them to know what their choices are and what decisions they're going to be expected to make in their birthing environment, it helps them be prepared, it helps them find their voice, and it helps them have a better birth experience. So I'm not going to ask everyone here if they could speak to their birth experience in a positive way, but that is what we're wanting to get to. We're wanting our families to speak about the day that they had their child in a positive manner and not a horrible, scary, everything was taken away from me experience, because a lot of us in here can probably speak to having given birth and the history of birth and how it was taken away from lots of females with the history of birth. Some mothers don't see it that way. And if you get to talking to them and get them to share their story, you will hear that piece of the experience where they didn't make any decision. There was no decision made where they decided anything. So I hope, I know that that spirituality is important, and birth work is very spiritual. We get to know our families and we commit to them through this long experience. We're relationship based. So we get to know the family, we get to know the fathers, we get to know anyone who is supporting this family. We want to be a part of their life. And so we're not on call for them. We don't have a call schedule where, if it's 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, this doula is going to support the mom if she goes into labor. We commit to them. And that means we are on call for them for whenever the birth happens. We're going to be with them. And if you've ever witnessed birth and been a part of the birth experience, it is very emotional. It is very, it's hard to explain how deep everything, deep with the feelings in the actual experience. We really help mothers stay present for the experience, whether that's feeling every contraction that they have or not feeling the contraction. We still want them to be present in the experience. So it helps them feel empowered through the experience. Just so you know, Spartanburg has been doing a great job with reducing teen birth rates, and it's a lot to celebrate. 63% reduction in 10 years. So we as in Birth Matters is rooted in that, but it's really been a community effort. It's getting parents more comfortable with the topic. It's getting schools to be more open to discussing the full sexual health curriculum. It's making a referral to our organization if they feel like the young person is interested in being sexually active. It is a very holistic approach to how can we build our young people up and help them be the best version of themselves. And sometimes that isn't just their mental health and their academic health. It does include their physical health and their well-being around their sexual health. So we are the organization that is very comfortable with that topic. And therefore, we serve about 400, pre-COVID, we serve about 400 young people in our iMatter program, making sure that they know about the choices that they have. And then in our doula program, we serve 60 families in a 12-month period. And that's intensive work. And it's being on call for our families and being there for them in an authentic way. I do know that a lot of people like to understand how are we saving money? What does this mean for Spartanburg? And that's why I gave y'all this little handy dandy bookmark. It shows you that several years ago, we did a return on investment project with Wofford College, and we were able to prove that from the every dollar that's invested into our program, we saved Spartanburg County $4.17. So we got it down to the cents. And the back of the page shows you exactly each category. So cost savings on reducing cesarean births, cost savings in NICU admissions, so helping babies be born at a healthier stage, and then fewer repeat pregnancies. So we do work with moms 24 and younger that are low income. So sometimes our moms are expecting their second child. Sometimes it's their first pregnancy. And if they choose contraception that's more long-term, we know that they will not have a baby within 2 to 3 years after the baby that they're carrying. And then breastfeeding, that's a huge cost savings that has a lifelong return on investment when a baby is breastfed at birth, and even higher lifelong benefits if they breastfeed at 3 months and 6 months. And our rates at birth is 95% of our families breastfeed their child at birth. And then our at 3 months, we are higher than the state average. And then at 6 months, we are as well. So that is how we save money if you're interested in that. I would like to just know, when you think of a healthy baby, what do you envision? What do you think a healthy birth weight is considered? What is a healthy birth weight? We want all babies to be born above what size? Any guesses? 7? 6? Okay, so y'all are close. The research says that if you can ensure that babies are born above 5 pounds, 10 ounces, then lifelong brain development, all the development of that child will likely not have any delays. And so that is a big piece. So it's not just the birth weight, it's also when the mother has the baby. Does everybody remember how many weeks we like you to have the baby? A lot of people went by months. So how many months were you, the ones y'all who raised your hand said y'all had babies? How many months were y'all pregnant? 9, yes. So it's 40 weeks. We go by weeks now. And we really like babies to finish their 37th week. If we can get them 30 to 38 weeks and the baby's above 5 pounds, 10 ounces, then we are snapping our fingers and we're really excited. So those are some of the outcomes when you see babies not going to the NICU. It's because we help moms stay pregnant longer, and the brain development is the last thing that finishes developing. So we're really excited when babies get to 40 weeks. It's something to be proud of. So I was thinking maybe y'all would like to know how many mothers in the United States die from pregnancy-related deaths in the United States. How many? If you had to guess. No guesses? No? Okay. Okay, it's 700. So we're better than you thought. But if you look worldwide, the United States still has a lot of room to improve on this. So that's when you see our cesarean rates less with the mothers that are in our program than the comparison group. That does mean that we're reducing the chances of that mother to not live. So unfortunately, cesarean birth is surgical procedure, and it does increase risk for all kinds of things. So we celebrate that we have not lost any babies or lost any mamas in our program over the 12 years. We have lost some mothers to accidents, but nothing that was pregnancy related. So South Carolina also has rates where Black babies die 1.5 more times than white babies. So that is significant when you think about living in South Carolina. And it's the same when it comes to maternal mortality. Black mothers die at a much 2.5 times greater than any other race. So that is why we are rooted in serving Black Americans right here in Spartanburg. And I will say that, a lot of people are always wanting to know, how has COVID affected your work? And I will say that it has not been easy, because we are all about doing home visits during pregnancy. We're with them at the birthing environment, which our mothers are on Medicaid. They don't have a lot of choice around where they birth. So 99% of our moms birth at regional. And then we continue our home visits until the baby's 1. And with COVID, we have had to we went to a virtual platform where we, would love to Zoom or FaceTime with our mothers so we could at least see them and connect with them. And we pivoted nicely. We didn't lose mothers because of this, but we did have to offer and adapt to allowing them to just call on the telephone. So y'all probably know, if you live out in the outskirts, your Wi-Fi bandwidth might not be great, or you might not have the technology that allows you to get on a Zoom or a virtual platform. And so we adapted and certainly met our families where they were. We did celebrate in November when I presented to the COVID task force at regional. They did approve allowing the birth doulas back into the birthing space. And so we've been back in the birthing rooms since December. And statewide, that's been different for every community. And we are the only doulas right now that are allowed at regional to support families through their birth experience. So we do celebrate that. And hopefully the board and myself will be making some critical decisions about returning back to the home and hopefully providing the service in person. I also like to tell people that the amount of touches that we have with families, the amount of visits and connections that we have, we see our moms, on the home visits or virtually around 40 times on average. So that is a lot of times that we are building this relationship and building trust. And because of that, that is why when we provide the education around birthing choices or anything around behavior change or anything, they do value what their doulas are saying, and they do connect with their doulas, and they value the doula's information and the relationship. And the other piece to this is a lot of times people want to ask, how can I get involved? What is it that you need? And that changes week to week, but for the most part, we are always interested in how to work together. And sometimes that just means we meet and we talk about different needs and we work together. Other times it's, I might ask if you're interested in serving on a planning committee for a fundraiser, or if you're deeply interested in our work, then we definitely want to see if you want to be a board member or be willing to give of your time that way. We always appreciate donations, and donations isn't always money. We love the money, but sometimes donations there are, donating children's clothes. If you have diapers that you have left over, that's a way of giving back to your community and to these families that do have needs. And I do want to just say that the impact is in the stories. And if you choose to get involved and learn more or stay better connected with Birth Matters, the best way to do that is to go to our website, which that was one of the reasons why I gave you this card. My business card has our old website, but this one has our new website on it. It's spelled together, birthmatters.org. And if you go to the website, you'll have a pop-up that says, do you want to stay connected? And you can sign up for our email newsletters. And that will help you know about some of our fundraisers that we have going on. And at our fundraisers, you will meet our staff and you will get to hear the stories of the impact that they've had on families. They're very comfortable sharing those stories if you're interested. And every now and then we do invite families that we've served to come to those environments if they're comfortable. And sometimes you'll get to talk to a mother that was served and hear from her firsthand. If you like Instagram, we also do live chats with our families, and they'll share their stories of the impact and what this program has meant to them. And that is a very powerful way to hear the impact, because it is in the stories. The numbers are great when you hear that babies are healthier and the outcomes are all there. And that's how I get the grants. I write the grants and say, these babies in our program will be healthier. And that's why, the Mary Black Foundation and the United Way and the Spartanburg Regional Foundation, that's why they give us money, because they know from our track record that the babies that are enrolled in our program save this county significant money. So if you want to stay connected, that's a great way to stay involved or stay connected. And if you ever have an idea, I don't ever like to say, no, that won't work. I'd rather talk to you and hear what your ideas are. Sometimes we don't have the capacity at that moment to carry it out, but I'm all about talking it through and seeing if this is something that we could do. So please, come with ideas. And we welcome that. And, the other thing I wanted to say is Sue and Barbie sewed us some bags. And that was another way to volunteer. She sews bags for our mothers because we like to give the mother a little gift after she has the baby. So that was an idea that came out of Joan when Joan was a board member, and we had a gold award Girl Scout who wanted to make these bags. And we've been able to carry that legacy on with some of her actual diaper cloths that she made. And so we've been able to keep that vision going. And that was something that I couldn't quite get my head around in the beginning. And we kept talking it out, and we kept working it out. And I think it was the day of service here as well, where people came together that knew how to sew, and they helped sew bags. So again, that was an idea that came from someone else, and we've benefited, and our families continue to benefit. And I wanted to open it up for questions because I know sometimes people want to hear something real specific. Sure. Yeah, that works. Yes, no problem. That works. Thank y'all so much.
It's wonderful that you will spend some time with us after the service. Normally we would have refreshments, but just like the pandemic has affected Birth Matters, it has certainly affected us as well. At this point in our service, I'm going to invite everyone to bring their 3 pebbles to one of the vases. This is our moment to share our joys and concerns as we drop our pebbles into the vase and we watch the bubbles move to the surface. Those are our prayers being offered and being heard and being shared. And those of us who are sitting, waiting for our turn or after our turn, we are supporting the individual offering their prayers. Kathy and I are going to begin. Kathy will play some music, and then I would invite everyone to come and share their prayers. Please come, join, and share your prayers. Will you join me in our prayer? All shall be well. All shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. All shall be well. Soon, I think we'll be able to sing again, and won't that be wonderful? Oh, just missed that. A portion of our offering this evening is designated for Birth Matters, honoring Molly for sharing the information with us, for sharing your time, your creative energy, and not just with us, Molly, but with the community in such a vibrant sort of way. So we are so appreciative, and maybe next year we could have some of those stories shared with us here as part of the service. That would be fabulous, just fabulous. As everyone knows, STAR is supported by time, talent, and treasure. We are always appreciative to everyone for the talent and the time that they share with us, and certainly the generosity of your treasure. Will you join me in our prayer of thanksgiving? Ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est. Live in charity and steadfast love. Live in charity, God will dwell with you. If everyone would please stand for the invocation of the directions.
This evening, we invoke the Great One, the one who created heaven and earth, the great mystery, Wankantaka, to celebrate the joining of pleasure and pain, the naming and the unnaming, and the cosmos and the void. The blend of these opposites cooked over the sacred fire gives birth to something where previously there was nothing. Joining and experiencing these creates a mix that gives full meaning of the image of the Creator. The Holy One tells us that when we experience creation and darkness, we are combining the necessary ingredients to the birthing of creativity, the via creativa. The final result is that we give birth to art. We see the sacredness of all things, and we become artists who see the abundance of harmony and cosmic wholeness in our dear mother, the earth. We know we are a book about God, and everything we see becomes a glittering, glimmering mirror of God. We burn sweetgrass and sage to see the smoke rise in the air and see the many shapes of the Great One. We have a new imagination and can create the image of God in everything we see. The buffalo drum beats the heartbeat of all the sacred in all things. The flute's notes fill the air with musical artistry. We are venturing down the via creativity, the road of creativity. We are befriending creativity.
Facing east, the grandmothers and the grandfathers of the East tell us every artist may not be a special kind of person, but every person is a special kind of artist. Altogether, if we do express our own original ideas, and if we do listen to our own being or self, we will be faithful to our finding wholeness on the via creativa. This is how we befriend creativity.
Quarter turn to the right, facing to the south. The grandmothers and the grandfathers of the South tell us that art is the basic form of meditation in the creation spirituality tradition. Creativity is where divinity and humanity meet. Altogether, if we do express our own original ideas, and if we do listen to our own being or self, we will be faithful to our finding wholeness on the Via Creativa. This is how we befriend creativity.
Quarter turn to the right, facing west. The grandmothers and the grandfathers of the West want us to understand the powers we humans have to give birth to our images. We are in fact the very divine power of the universe itself, and more than that, of divinity itself. Altogether, if we do express our own original ideas, and if we do listen to our own being or self, we will be faithful to our finding wholeness on the Via Creativa. This is how we befriend creativity.
Quarter turn to the right, facing to the north. The grandmothers and the grandfathers of the north want us to know that the Holy One trusts us with the divine power of imagination. We have been entrusted by God to imagine and give birth to art. Imperfection is no excuse. Altogether, if we do express our own original ideas, and if we do listen to our own being or self, we will be faithful to our finding wholeness on the Via Creativa. This is how we befriend creativity.
Facing center, the grandmothers and the grandfathers of the center space want us to look around this circle and see the artist in every face and know that our collective imagination is co-creating with the universe. Altogether, if we do express our own original ideas, and if we do listen to our own being or self, we will be faithful to our finding wholeness on the Via Creativa. This is how we befriend creativity. Namaste.
You're invited to join in the way of tea. gathering heart and mind and spirit for a meditation on sweet balance. If you would find a comfortable position in your chair, perhaps with your feet on the floor, spaced slightly apart, your back straight, resting on and supported by the back of your chair, your hands resting just above your knees or together in your lap, one hand resting in the other with palms open. Then close your eyes. Spend a moment resting in this position, acquainting yourself with the rhythm of your breathing and the vibration of soft background music. Now, if you would imagine that the basket of sweets is being ready for serving, first shared between the servers, then one server begins to move around the circle, stopping in front of each person, inviting each to reach into the basket and select one of the sweets. The server now stands in front of you, holds the basket for you to select your sweet. As you peer inside the basket, you wonder, what will the sweet be this evening? Imagine what it might be. Having made your selection, then you either take a bite or, if tiny enough, pop it into your mouth. The result is an unleashing of a subtle sweetness or an explosion of delightful decadence, made even more intense as you continue to chew, each bite being more pleasurable than the last. Finally, you swallow. You can feel the sugary concoction slip down your throat and begin to wind its way downward. A slow movement of sweetening, filling nooks and crannies in your body with the sensuality of goodness, leaving you aglow in the honeydew of gentleness and kindness. This evening, the basket of sweets will be presented to you by the server. Select a sweet, unwrap it, taste, and enjoy the goodness of your sweet. Hold on to the wrapper until the tray with the cups comes by. Then settle in this space and spend a bit more time feeling the sweetness trickle into the center of your being, savoring in your heart and mind and spirit, and reflecting on what such goodness means to you.
Continuing in the way of tea, you are now invited to gather heart and mind and spirit for a meditation on bitter balance. Remaining in a comfortable position in your chair with eyes closed, again, spend a moment acquainting yourself with the rhythm of your breathing and the vibration of soft background music. Now, if you would, imagine the tea being prepared and readied for serving. First, shared between the servers. Then, both begin to move around the circle, stopping in front of each person, offering the tray filled with small glass tea vessels, inviting each to select one. Having made your selection, the server moves on, and for a moment, you are holding the tiny chalice before lifting it to your lips. As you move it toward your lips, you get a whiff of the musky fragrance of the freshly brewed green tea. Imagine that aroma as you breathe in and exhale slowly. Your thoughts shift to wonderings about the brew. How strong is the brew? Is it too warm, too cool? Then you take a small sip. It is not too warm or too cool, but rigorously strong. Imagine that as the liquid rests on your tongue, it is almost as though every taste bud has become hyper alert, in violent protest of the pungent flavor. Seemingly more intense, since the tastiness of the sweet lingers. The bitterness begins its invasion, determined to overcome any of the residual lusciousness. And then you swallow. But the taste has lost much of its harshness. Instead, you experience a nectar flavored with the essence of both sweet and bitter. These two ingredients complementing each other, when contemplated together, represent a symbol of harmony and balance. This evening, the tea tray will be presented to you by the server. Select one of the small cups, and while sipping the brew, taste the bitterness mingled with the lingering sweet. Then settle in this space and spend a little more time letting harmony and balance wind their way to the center of your being. Letting your heart and mind and spirit be refreshed in letting go of one versus the other, reflecting on the peacefulness of your restful soul. The server will again stand in front of you. You place your teacup on the tray. It is empty, but you are not.
Please join me in our closing prayer. Although we extinguish our community candle, we do not extinguish the warmth of community, the spirit of gratitude, the fire of commitment, and our shared compassion during this time together as community. The light of hope, hope for change that brings new blessings into our lives and the lives of those around us, remains and will continue to burn brightly. We carry the light of hope in our hearts until we are together again. Amen.
Everyone would please stand for our blessing and our sending out. And I want to invite everyone to our service on May the 9th, Mother's Day evening. It's going to be a smashing service. We have a lot of contributions, music, stories. I hope you will be able to join us. And again, we thank you, Molly. And Molly's going to spend a little time with us. So if we have questions, this will be the time to ask them and she will share with us. Joining our voices, go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround us everywhere, everywhere we may go until we meet again. Amen. Thank you all so much.